You know why? Okay, do you want to know why?
Yeah.
All right, because he's part of the problem.
Yes.
A big part of the problem. Okay, so I'm sick of this woe is me nonsense because he's just using drugs.
I agree.
Every goddamn day out here, it's destroying what's going on. But nobody should be responsible for it?
I'm going to tell you exactly again how I feel. Jerry is 45 years old. He has been addicted to drugs ever since he was 11 years old. He's sick. He's not a criminal. He's got a sickness that he's been fighting all of his life, Your Honor. He has no crimes of violence. He's never done anything similar other than being involved in drugs. Now, I know the court has read the probation report like I did, and he got caught with some heroin, and he got caught with some meth and crack cocaine. Everything was done to feed the sickness, this habit that he has. I see a client that is sick, that he's got this illness, that he's fought hard. He rehabbed in 2010 for a number of months. He was on, recently you were on, what was it?
IOP. IOP over here.
Oh, yeah, IOP. That's it. I couldn't think of that before. He was an IOP for a long period of time. He was really, really trying to help himself. Your Honor, I know he's got 6 cases. I know he's got a lot of counts against him. But let's not just throw him to the dogs. Let's see if we can help him. He knows he has to go to prison today. He knows that. He's here. He's here to tell you why he did all these things. But, Your Honor, I'm going to ask you to give him the minimum sentence here of 3 years that was discussed. I know you don't have to do that, but I'm going to ask that you do that. And further, I have one further request, and I don't know if you want to see it, but he's got a very serious injury to his right arm. I saw it. He's going to need surgery probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks to that arm. His tendon is all black and blue. He pulled the tendon. It's awful looking. I'm going to ask the court that when you sentence him, that you give him time to report so he can take care of that issue, because I don't think they're going to be able to take care of that in the institution. And if you saw his arm like I did, you would know what I'm talking about. So I'm just asking for the leniency of 60 days for him to take care of this. But, Your Honor, I'm going to ask you to be as lenient as possible with him. He really has tried. He really has tried very hard to kick this habit. And maybe this incarceration, if you give him the 3 years, maybe that'll do that. And we hope that'll do that. He's really a good guy. He really is. He's never hurt anybody. He's never committed a crime of violence. He's taken care of his son, who's in the back of the courtroom. He helps with his girlfriend's children. I mean, I could go on and on. Your Honor, the defendant would like to address the court.
All right, Mr. Karpovich, what do you want to tell me before I impose sentence?
Now, relax.
I'm trying. Family put drugs in front of me at an early age. 11 years old. Now I'm understanding the long-term consequences. I've worked off and on basically my whole life, paid taxes, ran a stop sign. Came to drugs, unpaid court fines, parental license suspensions, that sort of thing, spiral out of control. Put myself through the lake house 2010. No wife, no mom, no courts. From 2010 till 2020, late 2020, I didn't touch anything. I left the lake house with a garbage bag full of clothes, bought 2 duplexes, and a beautiful sports car. I was at Melrose for 9 years. COVID hit. I lost my gig there. And house fire. He moved back to his mother's. I started using right before things happened, and that just...
Why? You knew
To
in
cope.
10.
I was coping with
You
life.
knew in 10, after years and years and years of abuse, you figured out a way out of it.
I did.
Assuming what you're telling me is accurate, you figured a way out of it. Let's set aside 16 for a moment.
Sure.
Okay. In 22, you start using again.
It's 21.
21.
Yes, sir. Your Honor.
So, why?
You're not gonna like this.
Hmm?
In those moments, I didn't care. I didn't care. It wasn't real yet. I had no idea $800 worth of drugs was gonna give me freaking, excuse my language, Your Honor, mandatory 3 years of prison. $800 worth of drugs? Like, I'm sorry, I'm not exactly your standard issue drug addict.
You got crack, you got meth, and you got pills, and you got a scale. So why is that? Give me the explanation for that.
Well, the scale is because, well, you know, I'm not your $20 drug addict. I'd rather shop at Sam's Club than convenient. So I'm going to make sure I'm getting what I pay for.
The last one, you got 8.9 grams of crack, 23.8 grams of cocaine, 2.4 grams of meth, 22.2 grams of baking soda, digital scale, glass measuring cup. Explain the baking soda, the scale, and the measuring cup to me.
Taking it to a constituent's house so he could prepare it for me. I talked out the side of my head like I knew how to do it. I don't know how to do it. Every time I
Do
tried,
what?
I screwed it up.
Do what?
Turned cocaine into crack cocaine.
Who was going to cook it for you?
A person I knew.
And that would be who?
Carol and Kenny over in Eastlake. I think Kenny just got a case here. I mean, as an addict, I wanted to stay free. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, because the whole tone of you in this pre-sentence report, and as you stand here, is woe is me, you know, because the cops went out to get me, and I really didn't do anything, and I don't feel bad about anything. That's what I get from you.
Can I say something, Judge?
Go ahead.
You see, I spent a lot of time with Jerry over what you're talking about. And what he feels is that he's addicted to drugs. He knows he's addicted, and he feels that because of that disease that he has, that he should, I don't want to say should not be prosecuted, because I told him it's against the law, you can't do that, but he's been fighting that his whole life, and it's so hard for him to see why he should be punished for a disease. And I may not be saying that right, I don't know, maybe Jerry should say it better than me, but I think that's the attitude that I'm getting from him, not only today, but in the past. He just feels that he's got this illness, and why am I here? Why am I being punished for it and not in a hospital or something like that? And I don't want the judge to...
You know why? Okay, do you want to know why?
Yeah.
All right, because he's part of the problem.
Yes.
A big part of the problem. Okay? So I'm sick of this woe is me nonsense, okay, because he's just using drugs.
I agree.
Every goddamn day out here it's destroying what's going on. But nobody should be responsible for it? Is that what we're all saying here?
No, Your
That
Honor.
sounds like it.
No, Your Honor. Well, you know that's not how I feel. I hate drugs. That's how he feels, okay? Not how I feel. Obviously, I don't feel that way. You know that. And I feel your consternation. I really do. I don't know what...
What I'm supposed to do in this case, because Jerry feels that way, is not impose punishment on him.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. We want you to impose the punishment.
Well, what we want doesn't matter, because at the very least, I have to do what my obligation is,
Yeah.
don't I?
Yeah.
Okay? But we shouldn't do anything beyond that, because it would be punishing him. Well, no kidding. No kidding.
Yeah. I understand how you feel. I really do. I don't know what the damn answer is. I really don't know what the answer is. I don't know. Let me get up. I've really never met a client like this that feels the way he does. You know, I've been doing this longer than you, actually, and I've had so many drug cases. The first time I come across an attitude like this, you know, what are we going to do? We're going to send him to prison. He's going to get out and do the same thing.
Well, that's up to him. That's not up to me.
No, you got to send him to prison. Maybe
So
that
you know
will help
what's
him.
going to happen when he goes to prison,
Right.
okay? Because of the ineptness of the governor and the attorney general and the Department of Rehabilitations and Corrections, he'll go there the first day and get the ability to use drugs every day he's there, okay? Because they won't do their job, okay? Now, he can either do that or he can not do that, okay? So this nonsense that sent him to prison is going to do no good. That's up to him. It's not up to me. It's not even up to DeWine or his lackey at the Department of Corrections. Okay, he determines what he's going to do. So don't tell me that sending him to prison is going to do no good because he's going to do the same thing when he comes out.
No,
That's up to him.
Yeah,
Not up to me, okay? So I detest the argument that sending him to prison is going to do no good because he'll do the same thing when he comes back, because that's his choice.
Yes, Your
and
Honor.
he knows that's his choice.
Absolutely.
Because he just told me over and over and over again that he made a choice after 10 years of sobriety, okay? So it's his choice, because it's an individual adult's choice, okay? That's
Yes.
the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Dumbest thing I've ever heard. Now, what's wrong with your arm?
So, I was coming out of my laundry room. I've already had a problem with the carrying in a couple gallons of milk from Sam's Club, and I dropped them in the driveway. Like, my wrist already started failing, and I think it happened I play competitive volleyball 3 nights a week. And I think it happened at volleyball. But I'm getting a little bit older. I'm 45. I was coming through the laundry room, and I just hit it on the corner of the wall, and I dropped to the floor. Like, it stopped me in my tracks, went right to the emergency room. I tore the tendon from the thumb all the way around to the elbow, and the ER doctor said it's going to need surgery. I made an appointment with the orthopedic surgeon as soon as I got home, or the following morning, which is Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Whether I get to do anything outside of what we got going on here today is, obviously up to you. Got multiple medications, and it's actually even on the backside, torn across.
What medication are you on?
Now, they did give me oxycodone. I didn't take it. I have the whole script. They gave me Flexerol. They gave me acetaminophen. They gave me naproxen, all pain relief stuff.
All right, anything else you want to tell me?
Did you put that back on?
I'm starting to. You asked me an important question here. I'm learning a lesson today. Maybe not today, or whenever I go to prison, I'm learning a lesson. I know the difference between right and wrong.
I don't know whether you're learning a lesson.
Well,
because from what you're telling me, that it's really none of society's business, it's your business. That my guess is you're going to come out and do the same thing because there's nobody's goddamn business. Yeah. All right, have a seat, Mr. Geigrich.
Okay, put that
Thank
back
you, Your Honor.
on.
State of Ohio would ask you to impose the term imprisonment as agreed. Thank you.
Which you guys.
3 years, Your Honor.
Your joint recommendation is
Yeah.
3 years.
Correct.
The only thing that that, the only thing that the state of Ohio in the prison system does worse than control the drugs, which I think they're perfectly happy allowing drugs to be used in prison, keeps the population under control, is medical care. So here's what I'm gonna do. You're gonna come back here. I'm continuing this for right now until March 27th.
One moment, Your Honor.
You understand that I can either go along with their joint recommendation or I can go above their joint recommendation. You understand that? And I've ignored joint recommendations more than I've gone along with them over 9 years. You understand that? So we're going to have this hearing on March 27th at 9 o'clock. You're going to report every Monday to probation.
No problem.
Going to take a urine screen every Monday. You're going to get your surgery. You're going to be back here on the 27th of March for sentencing. Now, if you want any hope that I'm going to go along with this joint recommendation, then you're going to get over your attitude if it's nobody's business, and you're going to stay off the drugs. Because I can assure you, whatever chance there is I'm going to go with the joint recommendation will be out the window if you're screwing around. Do you understand that? Do you have any, are you clear on what I'm saying?
Crystal clear, Your Honor.
Okay. So all these cases will be on for sentencing on March 27th at 9 o'clock.
Mark 20 what, Your Honor? 7?
27th.
At 9.
And a further condition of your bond is that you report every Monday to probation by 9 a.m. for a urine test. All right, anything else right now, Mr. Geigerich?
Nothing, Your Honor, thank you.
Peterson?
Absolutely not, Your Honor. I'll see you on the 27th of March.
All right, this case was set for sentencing on February 1. In advance of that date, Mr. Peterson filed a motion to continue on behalf of Mr. Karpovich, asking that it be continued because Mr. Karpovich was scheduled for surgery on February 6th. So at the end of that hearing, after quite a while, I continued it to afford the opportunity for the surgery. It was set sometime in March. In advance to today. Mr. Peterson,
Yes, Your Honor.
go ahead.
Well, you know, you revoked the defendant's bond on these 6 cases after you were kind enough to continue his case for sentencing. Your Honor, the only way I can tell you how I feel, and I truly feel this way about Jerry, because I have met with him many times, his significant other who's in the back of the courtroom. He's one of the very few defendants that I've represented that is so severely addicted to drugs. And that's what drove him to do what he did in these cases. Now,
Even though he doesn't think he should have been charged with
Exactly.
anything because it should be a crime because it's all for his use. I
And
understand.
that's-
I heard that for a half hour last time. Go ahead.
and that's, you know what, Judge? I knew you were going to say that because that's so typical of a person that's in his position. He knows he's going to prison. He knows he screwed up. He let his family down. He let his friends down. He even let me down. Because when I heard he picked up the new case, I was so mad I wouldn't talk to him. But, you know, I've talked to him since. And believe it or not, other than addicted to drugs, and that is such a disease, such an illness that he's got, Aside from that, if you knew him other than that, he's the nicest guy in the world. He really is. But he's got this problem, and we need to help him with it. I'm going to ask you not to throw him away.
How on God's green earth can I help him if he won't bother to and is not concerned with helping himself? Go ahead.
How do I answer that question?
I have no idea. That's why I asked you
I'm
the question.
struggling to figure out an answer. Maybe this time that you send him to prison, when he's away from all these friends and all these drugs, that'll help. That's all we could do. We could hope.
Maybe all the people he hangs around with will be better off since he's not around.
No question. How could I argue that? Of course. There's no question about that. But I'm going to just say to you, Judge, you know me a long time. We just finished the case. I'm going to ask you to take into consideration his age, 44? 45 years of age. He's been involved in drugs all his life. And I'm going to tell you something. As you know, you had his brother, who you gave many, many years in prison. His whole family's involved in drugs. That's how he grew up. I'm going to ask you to take into consideration whatever facts you can in relation to this defendant as far as his involvement. Never had a crime of violence that I know. I don't think he's ever had a crime of violence, always drug related. I'm going to ask you to search your mind and your heart to see what's the best thing to do for him. And he would like to address the court.
Go ahead.
I owe the court an apology. You're absolutely right. I don't hold myself accountable. When Judge Malczewski gave me an OR bond, I thought I was going to get out of jail again for a couple of days to find out that my couple bonds here got revoked. I was so angry. I didn't have anything nice to say about the court or the whole situation. Then they let AA come back into the jail. I attended the 2 meetings on back-to-back Wednesdays, and something Billy said was something about you got to just tell one less lie a day. And I told my family that that the last case that I caught, that the police confiscated a couple $1,000s. Well, that's not true. I lied. I spent the money. I spent the money on drugs. And then, once I got my family on the phone, I told my son and I told my girlfriend, it's their responsibility now at this point to save the house, which could potentially be headed back into foreclosure. And at that point I realized that, yes, my drug use not only is it affecting my son, my girlfriend, taxpayers, you, this attorney, the prosecutor, it's affecting everyone around me, everybody, even people that aren't around me. So not only am I not going to be present to help financially in my home with my family, any leadership qualities that I do possess aren't going to be in the home. Not to mention just the chores, being the man of the house, the grass cutting, the gutters cleaning, anything that the tenants need, and now I'm going to be an emotional drain on my family and a financial drain. Plus now everybody's got to step it up to fill in the gap where I've so selfishly taken for myself and claimed to not have done anything wrong, in essence. Apologize to the courts. I know that I'm going to prison.
You knew that last time. You knew that on February 1st, right?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
How does surgery go?
Didn't complete the surgery
Why not?
because I used drugs again.
Okay, so I continued that February 1st sentencing to afford you the opportunity to have the scheduled surgery on February 6th because you stood there and told me how bad the condition was, had Mr. Peterson go to bat for you and tell you how you needed the surgery because they would do a lousy job in the prison system. You took off your sling, took off the package, and showed me how bad it was. So I continued that hearing for about 6 weeks so you could get the surgery 5 days later and recover. Right? Isn't that what I did?
90% of it is accurate. I was meeting with the orthopedic surgeon for them to determine whether or not I needed surgery. But yes, you're
Well,
right.
that's not the
Yes.
information communicated to me. Okay? Maybe you should have told me on February 1st that you were to meet with them.
I'm
Okay?
fairly certain
All right. So, how did your meeting go on February 6th?
never happened, Your Honor, because I
Right.
started using drugs again.
Okay. So that leads me to my next question. As I listened to you talk for about 3 minutes, why in the world would I believe any of what you told me?
I don't know how to answer that, Your Honor.
Answer it as best you can.
I don't know how to answer that question. I mean, I guess expected me to be a drug addict when I behaved like a drug addict. I don't really have a, I don't know how to answer it, Your Honor.
I tell you what, I was sick of it on February 1st, and I'm sick of it now, okay? Because everything that you say, everything that you do revolves around you playing the part of the hapless drug addict who can't do anything about it. And I'm sick and tired of it. The reason that you don't do anything about it is because you don't do anything about it. You like to wallow in your own self-pity. That's what you do best. And you come here and tell me how mad you were last week when I revoked your bond, and then how all of a sudden Billy came in and now you see the light. That's nonsense. Go on, roll your eyes and shake your head. I don't care, okay? Because you've earned the position you're in, which is for me to never believe another word you ever say. You've earned that. That doesn't come easy. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, Your Honor.
Sit down.
Be careful.
Mr. Geigrich?
Thank you, Your Honor. State of Ohio had an agreed prison term of 3 years at the time of the plea. His recent arrest, I do believe, frees the state of Ohio from that agreement. And at this point, the state of Ohio would ask us to fashion a sentence that would be appropriate for this conduct that he's been before and after. Plus, I would ask you to think about his comments that he made in the pre-sentence investigation as to his remorse to these crimes. And the last thing I would add is that anything less than actual incarceration would demean the seriousness of these offenses. Thank you.
All right, I've reviewed the pre-sentence report, considered what was said in court by the defendant on February 1st, and today, considered what was said by Mr. Peterson on both those days, Mr. Geigrich on both those days. And have observed and concluded that you're the ultimate con man. On the 22-11-58, you were caught with crack, meth, pills, and a scale. 23-5-50, meth. 23-10-22, heroin and meth. 23-7-94, meth, crack, and powder cocaine. 23-1009 heroin, crack, scale with residue, 400 in cash, 263 in cash, 25 in cash. 23-1133, 8.9 grams of crack, 22.2 grams of baking soda. Can't imagine what that's for. 23.8 grams of cocaine, 2.4 grams of meth, a digital scale, and a glass measuring cup. Can't imagine what the baking soda, the scale, and the measuring cup were for. What was the baking soda for?
Turning cocaine into smokable crack.
What was the scale for?
For making sure I purchased I got what I purchased, and for if I attempted to sell something, that I gave them what they paid for.
And what was the glass measuring cup for?
For turning powder cocaine into crack.
So I think we had a discussion on February 1st about the scale. And this is the first time you told me that to make sure what the amount you were selling was correct.
Sure.
You didn't tell me that last time.
Because I'm a frickin' liar.
What?
Because I'm a frickin' liar.
You are. It's the first thing I believe you in what you said in 2 hearings. On 22-1158, on count 1, the F3, I sentence you to 36 months in prison. On count 2, the felony 2, I sentence you to a definite minimum of 4 years up to an indefinite maximum of 6 years in prison. Those 2 counts will be concurrent to one another, credit for 6 days. On 23-550, sentence you to 12 months in prison, credit for 6 days. That will be concurrent to 22-1158. On 23-1022, 36 months in prison, credit 13 days, concurrent to 23-550. 36 months, credit 13, concurrent to 23-550 and 22-1158. On 23-794, 24 months, credit 14 days. On 23-1009, 12 months, concurrent to 23-1022, and on 23-1133, sentence of a definite minimum of 6 years up to an indefinite maximum of 9 years. 23-1133 and 23-794 will be consecutive to one another and concurrent to all the remaining cases. Now, when you get out, you'll be on post-release control for 2 years up to 5 years with conditions placed upon you by the Adult Parole Authority. Is there anything else, Mr. Geiglich?
Nothing, Your Honor, thank you.
Your Honor, if I may, the total sentence that this defendant received is how many years?
There's going to be a 2-year sentence or a 24-month sentence on 23-794, followed by a 6 to 9 year sentence on 23-1133, and all the rest are concurrent.
So it's an 8-year total.
Correct.
And is the sentence in 1133, the 6 years, totally mandatory?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
I'll work on that other case now.
Don't worry about it. I'm just going to file a notice of availability.
Say it again?
I'll just file the notice of availability.
No, I don't want you to do that.
Why?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, because he was jumping back and forth.
Yeah, I got a little confused myself, but it's total 8, 6 mandatory. All right, let's go outside.
I could see being able to file after 6 if I served the 6 first, but I served the 2 first. So,
I will give you that information for sure. Okay.
presumed, was it earned early release? What if I'm correct, no one's ever qualified for it, not one person's ever been released early.
That could be considered, like, in that perspective, like, time, potentially, like, based on what programs you're doing.
Well, the way that when I read the administrative code, it says that it's either a 5, 10, or 15, and I only qualify for a 10 because it was
All rise.
Guybridge?
Your Honor, we're before you today on State versus Jerry Karpovich, files 23 CR 794 and 23 CR 1133. We're here today for sentencing. State of Ohio is prepared to go forward. Thank you.
Botany?
With regard to sentencing, Your Honor, we would just ask for any type of leniency with regard to sentencing. I know one of the issues that was sent for remand was regarding the affidavit of indigency. My office did have an opportunity to receive an affidavit of indigency in both cases that were described to be completed, and that has been filed with the court on the 23rd, which was yesterday. With regard to Mr. Karpovich and what he has been doing since he's last seen you, Your Honor, from my understanding, he has maintained sobriety. He has been a student at Marion Tech. He's made the dean's list. He actually received a 4.0 with regard to the studies that he has been ongoing. And he is also a tutor at the prison for anybody with trying to obtain a GED. Additionally, Your Honor, he has completed a CDL class. Such documentation has been provided to the court regarding all the endeavors Mr. Karpovich has completed while he is staying in prison. Additionally, there's been letters submitted from family on his behalf, and I know Mr. Karpovich would like to speak to the court as well when deemed necessary. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Karpovich, what do you want to tell me?
I want to apologize to the court, the state, the probation department, my community, and my family for my words, my words, choices, and actions during my drug use from 2022 to 2024. I suffered from extreme drug-induced cognitive dissonance. My perception of reality was so warped, I refused to show any remorse. Take responsibility or accountability for my choices. Over the past year, I've reread my transcripts multiple times. And each time I do, I'm dumbfounded on how ridiculous I sounded. You can only imagine what I wrote on my pre-sentence investigation, including my words to Ms. Wagan from probation. I can't believe I behaved in that manner, and I'm truly ashamed. I'm not only using my words to apologize, but a wise person once told me that a true apology isn't about what's said, it's about changing the behavior in which warranted the apology. So I did. I did something about it. Your Honor, your words at sentencing stuck with me, and I quote, "The reason you don't do anything about it it's because you don't do anything about it. So I did something about it. I was arrested February 17th, 2024. My sobriety date is February 18th, 2024. So I've maintained sobriety just over 2 years now. I just hope the court accepts my apology, along with my community, my family.
Thank you. Ms. Winter, as I understand it, the purpose of the remand was to, in the mind of the Court of Appeals, to tell Mr. Karpovich that the aggregate sentence is actually 8 years to 11 years. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. The 11th District Court of Appeals remanded for limited resentencing with respect to indefinite sentencing, which includes the total definite and indefinite term imposed, and as well as the advisements under Reagan-Tokes, my understanding, based on the court's opinion in paragraph 49, they expect those advisements to be provided as well as the total aggregate term under Reagan-Tokes.
Even though adding 24 months to 6 years and 24 months and 9 years isn't really accurate, since the sentences on the smaller cases identified in months. So I will note for the record that 24 months is equivalent to 2 years, since that was the sentence on 794. So the sentence that I'm going to impose then, which was imposed previously, on, which is imposed right now, is 24 months on 794 and 6 to 9 years on 1133. The aggregate sentence for those two separate cases is 24 months plus 6 years to 24 months plus 9 years. So that is the aggregation I believe the Court of Appeals was looking for. Is that your understanding, Ms. Winter?
Yes, Your Honor, that is my understanding.
The mandatory fine that was imposed is waived pursuant to Ms. Novotny filing the affidavit of indigency. Pursuant to Revised Code 2929.144C, it is rebuttably presumed that the offender will be released from service of the sentence on the expiration of the minimum prison term imposed as part of the sentence, or on the offender's presumptive earned early release date as defined in section 2967.271 of the Revised Code, whichever is earlier. The Department of Rehabilitation and Correction may rebut the presumption described in Division B2C1 of this section if, at the hearing held under 2967.271 of the Revised Code, the Department makes specified determinations regarding the offender's conduct while confined, the offender's rehabilitation, the offender's threat to society, the offender's restrictive housing, if any, while confined, and any offender's security classification. If, as described in B2C2 of this section, the Department at the hearing makes the specified determinations and rebuts the presumption, the Department may maintain the offender's incarceration after the expiration of that minimum term or after that presumptive earned early release date for the length of time the Department determines to be reasonable, subject to the limitations specified in section 2967.271 of the Revised Code. The Department may make the specified determinations and maintain the offender's incarceration under the provisions described in B2C1 and 2 of this section more than one time, subject to the limitations specified in 2967.271 of the Revised Code. If the offender has not been released prior to the expiration of the offender's maximum prison term imposed as part of the sentence, the offender must be released upon the expiration of that term. Ms. Winter, anything further that you see to satisfy the Court of Appeals?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Guybridge?
No, Your Honor, thank
Ms.
you.
Novotny?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, we're adjourned.
All right.